Are we live? Are we live? I don't think we're live again.
Yeah, it's not saying it.
Oh, I see us. No, I don't. Yes, I do. No, I don't. It does say my name. I think we're good. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I should get rid of my Big Daddy D name, though. It's showing up on the stream. What up, guys? What up, Eddie?
What's up?
We had some technical difficulties here on both sides of things, but I see us. Do you see us?
Yeah, I see us now.
All right, cool. So you had a good week, huh, brother?
Yeah, it was a good week for me.
It was a good week for me. It was a good week for a lot of the guys. I like that a lot of guys are kind of pulling back a little bit, adapting to the current market that we're in. I had a weird couple of days, dude. Yesterday I took a short off of ES. Waited all day for this short, or all morning for this short, right? I hit the short button. Bibi Netanyahu tweets a minute later, dude. A minute later, and price just skyrockets, right? Then today it was the opposite. So I actually took a Palantir long today. So Palantir, let me share my screen here real quick. So share screen. Let's go ahead and share trading view. Boom. So let me pull up Palantir here. So Palantir swept a big low. Palantir's been getting beat up a little bit here. It swept all these lows down here, right? Like there's a bunch of liquidity sitting down here. Was looking for the sweep, the reclaim to hit along there. It came, but it started to look a little bit sketch. It started to kind of move against me a little bit. What up, J-Mag? Started to move against me a little bit, dude. And then a minute later, who tweets about Palantir? Donald freaking Trump. He freaking tweeted about Palantir. He, what did he tweet? He said, it was hilarious too. So he said, Palantir has proven to have great warfighting capabilities and equipment. Just ask our enemies. So I had like the reverse. Yesterday, a tweet screwed me. Today, a tweet, maybe it would have swept the level and reclaimed anyways. I don't know. But the Trump tweet definitely squeezed out the shorts, because when we lost this level, I mean, I was watching the order flow, dude. Like it was just, people were piling in short. And then as soon as that tweet came out, the high frequency trading news algorithms just pushed us way up. Pushed us way up, dude. So what changed for you this week? What did you hit this week?
So I hit a Bitcoin long. I'm in two longs on Bitcoin, one from a little further down, which I'm still in. And I got a long yesterday around, it was like 70, it was like 72-ish, or a little bit lower than that. It was like 71.5 when we swept. I just changed my strategy, man. We've been talking about it like in the Discord, and we've discussed it. We're like, look, man, it's not the time to go risk on. It's the time to really crack down on not taking those less than perfect setups, like you like to mention, Mona Lisa's. And that's what I've been doing. And for me, if I'm trading New York, I'm looking for SFPs right now. And you know me, I like my breakouts. I like my retest. I have a little bit of different strategy, but I want certainty, and SFPs giving me the best R's, risk reward ratio, and they're giving me the best entries. So I can like rest assured I'm getting the best entry, and I can sit like comfortable. And that's what's been keeping me like, not on the edge of my seat every time I enter a trade. So that's what I've been changing.
Yeah, you didn't like change your strategy, right? You've always traded SFPs. I think you've just in this market in the last week or two, just hyper focus on one thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's smart. I think that's smart in this market. This isn't like, the last couple days, I mean, we've had 7 green days in a row, but it's still been volatile, right? I mean, you look at some of these, the crazy part is, we talked about this a little bit when we wrapped the week. The S&P 500 right now is right now it's coming back a little bit, but it's about 3% from all-time highs. It's completely priced out the war premium. We're ahead technically a little bit of where we were when we started the war. Same thing with NQ, though NQ's like 5.5% away from its all-time highs. But then you go and look at like the individual stocks, right? Like you look at Microsoft, look at that, still down. It's technically kind of still in a bear flag, right? You look at Netflix, it's kind of coming back a little bit. Man, I might add to Netflix. I was waiting for this to break, kind of get that back test like we got. And then, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to set an alert there. It might be time to start thinking about buying some of these dips here. Coming out of this weekend, what do we have? We have Vance and the Iranian delegation in Pakistan. I watched the news broadcast today of Vance hopping on, I guess, is it Air Force Two when he's on it, going over to Pakistan. So hopefully they can land a deal, man. The markets can get a little bit of certainty around at least that. I mean, we still got inflation and everything else that we had pre-war, you know, kind of going on behind the scenes a little bit. But I'm just ready for when a tweet doesn't send us up or down again, like as violently as it has now. Just get risk on again, right? Get some more liquidity back into the markets. But there's still a lot of stocks. I mean, Oracle down here at the bottom. I gotta figure too, dude, some of these software stocks that have been beat up so bad, like, is there a short squeeze in here on some of these software stocks that have just been beaten up?
Yeah, I like to think so. I mean, everyone's so comfortable being short right now, and you know how that works. When everybody gets comfortable one direction, the market usually does the opposite.
Yeah, 100%. Oracle, still watching Nike, man, but it like it's still dumping. It's still dumping. At some point, dude, I have faith in this thing. I don't know when.
I like that $40 level.
Yeah, that $40 level does look good.
Seems like if you actually zoom in a little bit, there's
On the back here, or
go into the 4 hour and recent price action. You see how we're kind of flagging out a little bit? It looks like it wants one more dip down, man.
yeah,
And
to that $40 level probably.
Would be nice. If it hits that level, I'm definitely going to have my alerts there.
Yeah, I'm going to set one right now, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I'm just waiting for like a structure shift. What I'm not going to do is probably like touch $40 and buy, but I would like to touch $40 and then all of a sudden you start seeing this, right? You start seeing the dips being bought, which lets me know, you know, kind of the bulls are back in charge on this one. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff, Meta has kind of popped off the bottom here. I mean, it's at a pretty interesting level right now at that kind of 627. Gotta turn this magnet tool off. Like, look where it popped today. Or, well, really this week. Just right battling resistance now. Previous support. Flip that. Back test. Market structure shift up. Could be a buy there on Meta. If the market continues, right? If we get some certainty over the weekend, might not be a bad scoop on Meta because it's right now 29% away from its high. What do you think about Bitcoin, though? What are your thoughts on Bitcoin? Do you think you want to share your screen?
Yeah. Let me share my screen. I got a little bit of let me go to a fresh chart.
What up, Mitch?
Let's get the Binance chart up.
Yeah, that's the thing. J-Make says he's kind of not trusting this bounce and all this ceasefire thing. That's the thing, right? Like, the market has completely priced out the war now. So what happens when negotiations fall apart? Everything just dumps.
Yep.
I want to talk about that after Eddie talks about Bitcoin here a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, let's talk about Bitcoin. So bigger picture. I mean, what are we doing? It just looks like a giant bear flag like before. But here's the thing. Bear flags, people get bearish and they start shorting and they're looking for that breakdown. And we know that that's not how these things work. We oftentimes get that initial, it's what I like to think of as a bull trap before the big dump. So I'm still looking for that sweep, get everybody nice and ready to go bullish, and then they take it down. So right now, the big level I'm eyeing up. And if you're watching Bitcoin, I mean, this price that you probably heard, this is at 76K, man. It's right up there. Could we go higher? Sure. But right now, that's the level above us. I think we got to keep an eye on. And you go in a little bit lower time frames, you can see what we've done. I mean, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit on the daily, then I'll switch over to my lower time frames. But look, man, we're breaking levels, man. We broke that previous high back from March 24th, and we're trying to flip that into support. And if we can, that 76 is probably my next target. Higher than I've heard people talking about 80K, and there is a case to say if we do break up, maybe we do come for this higher level here. But at the end of the day, I'm still under the, I'm still under the, just like that mindset that this is just a giant bear flag. You
Just
see,
like the last one.
exactly. So this thing could shoot up, and then look for something like that at the end of the day. But for now, it's up. The trend's up. I'm not fading it. I'll show you. I'll show you where my longs are at, and you can see like. Let me get rid of all this stuff real quick. So used to streaming on TikTok with the vertical screen, so this is like new for me.
Kind of nice, huh?
It is nice. It is nice, right? You got a lot of space to show your charts.
Yeah, trust me, guys. We wish we could stream like I wish I could stream like this forever, right? But it's like the vertical format, man. It's just what everyone's on these days.
Yeah, it's very true. So look, I got long. It was a setup we talked about in the Discord. What has Bitcoin been doing? Flag, break. And we talked about it here. This could be potential flag, and we're starting to see that break. So the measured move, and this is why that 76K is so important for me. Take that flagpole, run this up. Where's that taking us? Right into 76. So am I shooting for 80, 90K like some people are throwing out there? No. I think 76 would be a nice place to offload, but I'm short from down here. I got a nice sweep the other day. It was beautiful. It was down here. It was like a SFP in the morning, and then we got another little bit of a long I added right there. But I'll be offloading here, so I want to see what happens when we get up there. I want to see a few things in social media. I want to see people flip bullish, and right now I don't see enough of that. When people start posting 100K or we're back, baby, and we start seeing all that stuff, man, I'm flipping short again, and I'm going to start looking for them. But for now, I think we just respect the trend, let Bitcoin do what it's got to do, let it follow the rest of the market. And yeah, but I mean, look, if we start closing back below this 72, we start losing this low. I mean, there's always that case that we can gain acceptance back underneath this range here, and then start attacking some of these lows back down here at 70, potentially back down to 68. So there's your bullish and bearish case on Bitcoin.
Let me ask you a fun question.
What's up?
I think both of us are kind of, I mean, it seems like both of us right now are thinking that this flag probably breaks down because, I mean, that's just kind of what it looks like. And we can zoom out and look back at the previous bear market. But what if and where are we wrong? What do you think?
If this flag breaks down, it doesn't break down. I mean, it's high here. I mean, I want to see higher time frames taken out. Like, we're not, I wouldn't even call this like a weekly, this is a weekly low, but we've had no structure shifts on the weekly. That doesn't happen until we get up here, in my opinion, up to that 98K on the weekly. That's for a higher time frame shift. I think I would need to see acceptance back up there, man. Could we get pullbacks in the meantime? Maybe shoot up there, right? Break that level and then get a big drop, and then we're looking for that higher low potentially. But I think this is the big level for me, man. 98. I mean, it's been 100K, just shy of it. I know you like your eights, and like it seems like that's the level, man. If it get above there and we start seeing some volume, seeing some follow through in some of these moves, I see that the stock market's still doing what it's doing. If it's going to continue up, yeah, I mean, you have to throw away that bearish bias, temporarily, but it's still hard, man. We just come off a 4-year cycle. We're in that traditionally we're in a down year, and this year usually is down until October. It's about a 1-year thing, so it's hard for me to get my mind around that. But like I said, if the charts prove it, man, and for me, proof is up here.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, if okay, so I look at zoom in on that structure on like a 4-hour chart, the flag that we're in. So I look at this and I see that sweep back in March 4th, that March 4th sweep, like right there, right? Took out everything to the left of it. And then the sweep right to the right of that, right? March 17th there at the top.
The top right
right
here.
there, right? Swept everything to the left of that. That swept everything to the left of that. It just seems to me like right now, bigger positioning is positioning to the downside. So it's the same thing that happened in the flag above us, right? We just kept sweeping the highs, sweeping the highs, sweeping the highs, but not taking anything from the lows, right? So it's almost like shorts are being filled. Shorts are being filled right now. That seems to be what the larger positioning is happening. Same thing as the flag above us. Same thing as at the top of the market. And I mean, same thing for every flag that's ever bear flag that's ever existed ever. I mean, that's what's kind of what's happening in a bear flag, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah. And bear flags are meant to like trick people because we gotta get it's in order for those like you said those shorts to get filled. Someone's got to buy there.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah. 100%.
Easiest way to get retail, tricked back into buying the tops, send price up.
I'm gonna find so going into next week, we have lots of earnings, right? So Q1 earnings season starts next week. We got Goldman Sachs and Fastenal on Monday, kind of a lighter day. And then on Tuesday, it's JP Morgan, Johnson & Johnson, Wells Fargo, BlackRock, CarMax, and then lots of big names. Netflix is on Thursday, right? Morgan Stanley on Wednesday. Tesla. Oh, come on, dude. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
I was about to say Tesla.
It's the week of, it is Tesla. Tesla's on Wednesday, but it's the week of 420, which is perfect for Elon. It's the week of I thought it was on 420, but 420 is Monday, and they're on Wednesday. Comcast. So lots of earnings. It's earnings season, Q1. Let's peek at a couple of these stocks that are going to be next week. Maybe we can kind of see some positioning, maybe today or this week into earnings. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up a couple of these, just stocks to kind of watch going into next week. Let me share my screen here. Boom. So on Monday, we got Goldman Sachs. Right now it's running. I mean, a lot of stuff is kind of running up right now. Banks right now, just in general, are running up. You look at XLF, which is the State Street Financial Sector ETF, and it actually just mimics basically the Goldman chart at the end of the day. But let me go back to Goldman Sachs here. So this is going into next week, earnings from Goldman Sachs. I look at this right here as there's an auction, right? We're kind of banging on the door of that auction again. Flip that, and then we got a good chance at the highs there. So flagging out for the last 3 days on Goldman's. You turned up your volume?
Yeah, I turned it up. How's it sound?
Oh, I can hear you louder now too.
Yeah.
Perfect. So Goldman is actually flagging out right now into earnings. Bull flagging out, whatever you want to call it. It's consolidation here. Boom, boom, boom. So if we stick into this flag into earnings, I mean, and again, earnings are Monday, and it looks like, I mean, what are we? A couple hours out here from the close today. I highly doubt we're going to move up or down in this. So going into Monday, you have a decent range to watch, right? Now, usually I'm looking for that first move off of earnings to be the false move, right? So I'm not going to trade the initial reaction on Goldman, right? I'm going to trade the reaction to the reaction. Who's getting screwed on the initial reaction, right? So earnings, let's just pretend that this is what it looks like. I mean, this is a good chance this is what it looks like going into Monday, because here we are Friday at 1:30 p.m. So going into Monday and going into Goldman earnings, I'm looking for that initial reaction, and then I'm looking to fade it, right? So I'm looking who's wrong. So if we sweep the lows here and everyone just kind of breaks out, and then we come back and reclaim it, granted, an earnings beat, which my assumption is Goldman's going to beat, and there's a play up, because we're still back into all of this mess here, maybe up to like 941, ultimately maybe attacking these highs again on Goldman. In the financial sector right now, it's just as a whole, it's mounting a little bit of comeback, kind of like everything else is right now. So I think you watch that range, man. I wouldn't trade that initial reaction. I would wait to see who's wrong off that initial reaction and then trade against them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. It's a good play.
I got JP Morgan, lots of banks, man. Johnson and Johnson, Wells Fargo, BlackRock, Albertsons. Do you guys have Albertsons by you?
No, not that I know of.
Grocery store. I think that's just West Coast, if I'm not mistaken. CarMax. You want to pull out? You know what? So it would be a good one. You want to do Johnson and Johnson?
Yeah, what's the ticker on the JJ?
Thanks, JJ. Yeah, that's a good one. It's a consumer staple. Right now, consumer staples have been in a downtrend. Just again, as a whole, since really the war started, dude. So if you remember, gold. Remember when gold was just taking off before that flash crash? When we got that flash crash, it's like money started coming out of gold and going into consumer staples. It's kind of like a hedge. Yeah. And now they're kind of mounting a little bit of a comeback here.
I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the chart right now. I'll pull it up and show you what I'm looking at. But yeah, it's just straight up, man. This thing is straight up. Just like you were saying, man, consumer staples. It's hard to fade these things. This is a weekly chart here.
Oh, it's not JJ. What is it?
JNJ.
JNJ.
So this is a weekly chart here, and you can see. Look, man, we flagged out, and we consolidated for a while. I mean, this was 2022 up to 2000. There's a 3-year consolidation before this breakout happened. So doesn't necessarily mean the move's over just yet. I mean, this is a long time, and the longer you consolidate, usually the bigger the move. That's historically that's how these things work. But we have been going up for a while and haven't any significant pullbacks. So I guess what I'd really be watching is, look, we're consolidating here, got a very clear money line, right, on a higher time frame. I'd watch that. I'd be watching this. Could we pull back in the meantime? Sure, we could. All right, we got some levels. There's probably we can watch below us, right? So I'd want to see this money line held. This would probably be my indicator. We've been trending up since June of last year. So going on almost a year-long trend since the breakout. So this is going to be a key level. But look, man, you can't fade this. This is like this could end up being just a nice little bull flag into the price chops around and then boom, get a nice pop. Inversely, look, you lose this trend and then you start opening up you open up the floodgates really for it to start coming down and attacking some of these lows it left behind. I mean, we really never swept anything on the way up. I mean, yeah, internally we took some things, but like external liquidity, it's all still there. And this is represented by this money line here. So you lose that. My first stop's down at 200, psychological number, right? Look at that thing. It would be a nice little drop down, but not going to fade the trend, man. Short term, I would stay probably just watch it. We do have earnings coming up. You did mention that, right? When's the earnings? Next week?
Earnings are on Tuesday. So the year to date, Johnson & Johnson's up 17%. And over 60% in the past year. So that's, again, is it sustainable? Could this be a sell the news or a take profit event? And I think there's a good scenario there. Like if we slip that trend, I think you're right. Like that's just telling me, I think you're doing this perfectly. You have two scenarios there, right? If it's a sell the news event, you slip that trend line. Done, right? The trend's over. People are just going to take profits. It's up 60% over the last year. But if we bounce off that trend line, flag breaks, there you go.
I mean, let's just look at what the measured move would be. Just take the flagpole, keep it simple, right? Let's say it does break around here. It's targeting that 300 zone. Does it get all the way up there? Potentially, but that's the next big level. I mean, we pretty much stopped at 250, and you can see it. It hits those psychological numbers, and you do get a little pause every time you get to them. So I'd like to see how it reacts going into earnings. I mean, we have that little thing we talk about in the Discord and sell the news, buy the rumor, sell the news. If you're dumping into or consolidating and generally trending down into an earnings, it's like, all right, what are people doing? What are they positioning? Do they know something? So you have to almost be a little bit cautious and think like maybe this thing, if it does dump into earnings, maybe look for that pop up. Inversely, if we start pumping, it could always be the inverse of that as well. I mean, last earnings, what did we do? I mean, we were pretty much dumping going into that earnings date, right? We'd had a pop up initial dump on the day of the earnings, but we continued the trend. So maybe we will pull back a little bit, get a little pop, pull back, and then continue up. I mean, that's what history's been showing us. Let me look right here, just to kind of go off my little theory here. But look, we pumped into this earnings here, and then we dumped after, and then here we pretty much did the inverse, right? We did get a little dump, but we were pulling back going into the earnings, had that pop and then pull. Right now, we're pulling straight back, man. So pay attention to the 14th. If you're big on this and you see yourself down sitting here down at this trend going into the 14th, not telling you what to do, but it's definitely where you want to be paying attention.
I think that's beautiful analysis. You want to do another one?
Yeah,
We'll do a couple more, and then we'll kind of wrap up the week and get out of here.
Let me do oil real quick because we got to talk about oil.
Oh, I did want to talk about that. Yep.
You want to do oil?
Yeah, let me do oil real quick. Well, you go ahead. I can do it off of your chart. 'Cause mine's more of like macro top down. So here's what I'm thinking, and then you can do the chart.
Yeah.
So right now you have the S&P 500 3% off of its highs. You have the Nasdaq 5% off of its highs. You have the equities markets more or less has priced out the war premium, but oil has not. Oil's still near $100 a barrel, right?
Yeah.
And someone's wrong. Someone's going to be wrong. Either to the oil bulls, the oil companies, or at people who have bought equities at the end of the day. Somebody's wrong here, right? There's a divergence between the two markets is essentially what I'm saying at the end of the day. So I'm sure there's going to be some key levels to watch for oil to maybe let us know who's wrong.
Yeah, no, for sure. And there are some key levels. I mean, you could see, look, we'll just start with the weekly. We obviously know that 120. We've heard that enough in the news. That's a big level. But to the downside, where do we start getting back? You know, where do things start getting back to normal? I mean, we want to be down, what was it, 60? You want to be around 60 to $70?
65, 75, definitely not $100 a barrel.
No, for sure. That's crazy. I mean, the big level right now below us that we're holding is we're kind of bouncing between this 94. Like we're holding a little bit of support here. And you can see like when we were downtrending on oil, right? We banged head up a couple times here on the weekly. We had another little sweep right there, and then we went lower. And you could see when we came up here initially, when we popped, we came back, tested it, popped again, and now we're testing it. You go down to your daily, and you can just see like, all right, we're trending up generally. But what's happening here? We're losing structure on the daily right there. We lost that daily low. That's something you need to pay attention to, because even if we do pop up, you know, market structure says, hey, we took some liquidity, but we closed. If we start popping up, I'm looking maybe a lower high potentially. I'm not going to trade this, of course, but you know, there's always that potential that we could, if it is this is the bearish scenario, guys, by the way. This pops up, get a little lower high, maybe we get that head and shoulders that bring us down, just that distribution pattern. But some things to watch in the short term. All right, I'm going to go down to my 4 hour to show you this, and this is where my head's at for like the upcoming week to really see which direction we're going. We got a solid 4 hour trend below us, right? And this always gets me, right? When you're dumping into a serious level, like a big support, like this 94, which we talked about, and then you start to see price do this right above it. What's that look like to you?
Flag.
It looks like a bear flag. You're consolidating above support. So I think this is really going to be the key. If this breaks back above $100, and I'll show you why 100 is such a big level. I mean, look, just the range, man. We've been ranging between 100 and 94. We've done it before, or I think we're doing it now. There's your 94 support. That's your range high at 100. You get above it, you open up the floodgates, right? That's going to be my key. Can we flip 100 and then run up to fill these single prints, make our way back up to, you know, maybe potentially even up to that 117? We left behind 119. We put in a lower high there. So if it's going to be bullish and it's going to move up, it's got to flip that 100 level. Inversely, man, we start cracking this flag. I mean, that could be a big move down for oil, dude. I don't know where this thing breaks, but like, just imagine, like, this is taking us back down to that $70, maybe that $65 level. Does it happen overnight? Probably not. And this thing could flag out for a while before it decides to actually roll over. So targets could change, but I think the big thing is like watch that 94 to the downside. And if we're going to flip short-term bullish, I think 100 needs to be broken, and you need to see some type of confirmation above that.
A little wonky. Well, I think pay attention to the rhetoric this weekend. Of
course.
Like I said, Vance is meeting with the Iranian delegation. tomorrow or whenever tomorrow is whenever Saturday is in Pakistan. So definitely pay attention to that. The hundreds are sticky on DXY and oil, says JMeg, 100%. And both are kind of at that $100 area, coincidentally enough.
Yeah, and consolidating going into it. So it's could go either way here, man. We could get a tweet, find out the war's back on, oil shoots right back up.
Yeah.
So I'm not really like taking positions until I see confirmations.
You think people right now, I mean, okay, so going back to what I said, perfect analysis, by the way, I agree with you. Do you think right now, since someone's going to be wrong, it's either the oil markets are wrong or the equities markets are wrong, right? They're going to do this, right? But they're going to do this. So probably what this is telling me right now is there's some hedging going on, right? You have people bidding both at the end of the day, right? It's oil's being propped up right now and equities are up. So I think there's a little bit of hedging going on. You're also seeing gold still, I mean, maybe not as much today, but I mean, since the gold bottom on the 23rd of March, it's been catching a bid, right?
Yeah, it has. I mean, and let me get rid of all this stuff real quick. Gold's been trending up too, and just to piggyback off that oil thing, you have to. I'm trying to think from it from like a bigger standpoint. Like who's buying oil? It's not me and you. Maybe we're trading it, but it's countries, dude. And what's been happening? Like what was the big scare a few weeks ago? Countries were actually worried that their oil supply was going to run out. So I think countries might be hedging oil because they're worried about the next breakout of oil and them not being able to afford it.
No, I agree with you. That's actually an awesome take.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, gold, we got a similar scenario since that low you talked about. We've been trending up. But, I mean, look, I like gold, but you just got to kind of paint the picture. I mean, look, trend is what? Look, high, low, lower high, lower low. Sure, it's a wick and we took some liquidity and we might run back up a little bit, but I mean, gold's still got to prove itself to me, man. It's still like kind of essentially in a downtrend. Like, and sure, like we got a lot to take back up to about 5,000 is a good level up there, right around here. Is where I was watching. Sort of lines up with this trend if you just run it up to the high here, and it's solid level, psychological number. Could we bear flag back all the way up there and still dump down? 100%. And I think gold, it's very similar to oil right now, man. Take a trend, pop that bad boy up, and you can see where price has been going since this big liquidity grab you talked about. So I'd be watching that 5,000 level, man, and I'd be watching this trend on gold to see. Gold is still operating like a risk-on asset at this time, and it'll change at some point. But right now, I mean, we just came from one of the biggest blow-off tops on gold ever. I mean, gold ran up from sub 2,000 up to 5,600. We saw silver make a move it hasn't made in over 11 years. So, retail's piled in, and I think this doesn't become a safe haven until those people are squeezed out. So it's going to continue to operate as a risk on. So if S&P is going up, this thing's probably generally going to trend up. So could be another indicator to watch. Gold is more reactive to news. Commodities in general are they're hyper reactive. So this may be a early sign of this thing starts to fail and it's acting as a risk on asset. Might be telling you something.
Yeah, 100%. I want to do one more. I want to get Netflix on here, and then we'll kind of wrap the week here. My dog is
here. Show your chart then.
Biting my feet, wanting to go outside. So I think I want to get outside too. It's the weekend. So let's just end with Netflix here. So Netflix earnings are on Thursday of next week, Thursday, April 16th. Netflix has been obviously running up into earnings here. We had a nice clean break here. Even got that back test, broke back above. Now we did sweep that high from Monday. A lot of things swept the highs, right? You can look at NVIDIA. Last time I looked at NVIDIA anyways, it had also swept its most recent high. As we're just kind of maybe seeing some unwinding into the weekend here. I expect everything to kind of still hold structure into close here, unless, again, so we get a tweet. I expect everything to kind of just hold its overall structure. maybe a little bit kind of cup in handy here. So going into earnings, again, is this going to be a sell the news? Are we going to see people take profits into earnings, use that as a liquidity event to take profits? Because I mean, since the bottom down here, it's up 35%. That's no small number. That's 35%, right? Does it have room to go up? Yeah, of course it does. So I think, again, I've set an alert. I'm probably going to set another alert for a potential short off of, the following day, or, who knows. But it's, again, you watch this for a breaking back into channel, but really, I'd be watching that kind of 97.57-ish level right there, because that was kind of like the breakthrough, the back test, and then the bounce today. So I'm watching that 97.57. I'm watching that high up here for a break above, which I have set an alert on. I'm probably gonna just set an alert there as well. But I think these levels definitely come into play. Again, this is a lot can happen between now and Thursday, of course. But if the structure looks similar going into Thursday, where maybe we kind of just consolidate a little bit here, I'm looking again for that initial reaction, for positions to offload, for positions to be filled, for breakout traders either way to be trapped, reclaiming it, and then going. So if we look at, again, I'm going to do what Eddie did and look at the last earnings here. So the last earnings was on right here. So the 24th. Yeah, 21st of October. So again, it went up. I mean, this is it, right? It went up, it swept the highs, and then it dumped, right? So that initial reaction, I'm looking to fade that initial reaction at the end of the day, just like the last earnings. Let's go look at the earnings before that. So that was on, same thing. Look at this, right? I'm just gonna do an Alt-V. Like, I ain't making this shit up, guys, right? Look at, swept the highs, swept the weekly highs, and then dumped. So I'm, let's look at the last one. Are they all dumped? Did we dump on every earnings?
Not the most recent one. There was one in 2026 early, right? Yeah.
Oh, I see it. I see it right there.
Oh no, we pumped a little bit though. We dumped into it.
So it did it. So yeah. I mean, I guess let's do an Alt-V. Let me go ahead and hit my replay tool. Start new. Let's trim all this shit and let's zoom in and see what happened on that day. So it ran up into earnings, right? So earnings came right here. So the initial reaction off of earnings was what? A pump to sweep the close and then a dump. My point, and also we ran up into earnings, right? Well, I guess it kind of, on the day of, it ran up. The initial reaction I'm looking to fade, period.
I agree.
And that's how NVIDIA earnings go. It's like the initial reaction, you don't touch, you fade it. At the end of the day. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, let's just kind of, am I sharing my screen?
Yep.
But it's not. Share screen, economic calendar, boom. Just going into next week, the week of Monday, April 13th, Fed speech on Monday. So we get PPI, ADP on Tuesday, a couple of Fed speeches. Wednesday, import prices, some mortgage stuff, oil stock. That's really it. Fed beige book. Thursday, Philly Fed numbers, continuing employment claims, Fed balance sheet. Friday, just a bunch of speeches. Otherwise, guys, in Discord, if you're in Discord, in the one of the free channels, I'm gonna open this. Open media link. It's in market notes. You have the big earnings for next week. This is the big news, or big earnings heading into next week. So keep some of these on your chart. If you trade these, watch them. Otherwise, this weekend, pay attention to the headlines, man. It's all about what Vance does, what Iran does, and the Pakistani mediators over there. Do we get some resolution? Does the can get kicked down the street? Does it fall apart? I don't know, but should be an interesting popcorn-filled weekend, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Nader says, I thought Eddie was wearing a suit. I think we should get some suits, dude, and just stream in suits.
It's like that scene in Step Brothers.
Yeah, we'll get some tuxedos. All right, guys. That's all I got. You got anything to add, Eddie?
Nah, just be vigilant out there, guys. It's a tough market. If you're trying to shoot for the moon, or trying to short to the moon or to the floor, you just gotta be in and out, take your profits, man. Be happy with it. I think you'll do okay. That's how we're doing. That's why our strategy's been in the Discord. If you guys haven't checked us out, tacticaledgetraders.com. Free courses. Ben's did a great job.
Just did a new one yesterday. Bounces and breaks and market behavior.
Yeah,
it's all free.
I've been getting a lot of feedback on those too, man. People have been telling me that they're taking your courses and they're loving it, man. They're learning so much. They're understanding what we're talking about, and they're starting to see the markets differently. So check us out. Check out that Discord. It's links right in the website, tacticaledgetraders.com. Yeah, come join us, man. This is what we do.
All right, y'all. You guys have a good weekend. Be safe, and we'll see you guys. Actually, on Sunday, just so everyone knows, I'll be in the free channels in Discord.